Welcome to Hollywood and Sip. I am your host, Kat Smith, and with me today I have Aidan Park, the author of a new book called The Art of Being Yay. He's also a stand-up comic and a life coach. I know that you said in your bio that that you became a life coach mostly to help yourself. Do you help other people with it, or is it maybe the book is how you help people with the life coach?
Recently, I've been helping other people. For the last year or so, I've been helping other people with it. But before then, I was like, it was my deep, dark secret because I didn't want anybody to know. Because, like, you know, I live in LA, you know.
Right.
Everybody can say, like, I'm an actor or I'm a, you know, and it's like, sure you are. You know, sure you are. So I'm like, life coach. Yeah, I'm just going to keep that out of my whole equation. Just do it for myself.
Right.
But be interested in that topic for, I don't know, like 15 years. It really saved my life. So,
Yeah.
But now I help people.
And we'll get into that. And I forgot to mention the subtitle to the book is The OMG NSFW Memoir and Guide to Authentic Joy. And I will be honest, I had to look up what NSFW is, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who work in offices who know. But I want to remind you that you're on radio, and I looked it up, and it means not safe for work, right?
Not safe for work.
So watch your phraseology while we're on the radio.
What am I allowed to talk about? What am I not allowed to talk about?
Oh, you're allowed to talk about anything you want as long as you don't cuss.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Well, because it's going on the radio, you know?
All right.
All right.
You might be sorry about that. You were like, I didn't mean for you to talk about that.
Well, the good news is we're not live. So if I say, maybe he shouldn't have said that, I'll just edit it out. But I don't want to edit, so just watch it.
Great. Awesome.
So today on your YouTube, I watched your heartfelt thank you. And also, so first of all, this is true of your stand-up also. I love when you're telling stories, whether you're on stage or like you did today, where you were thanking all of your fans for the support of the book and everything. I love how you laugh at your own jokes and laugh at your stories as you tell them. I really feel like you enjoy yourself while you're performing and while you're talking to people.
Yeah. I think I'm hilarious.
I think you're hilarious too. But I guess that makes sense. That's why you're teaching us the art of being yay.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. If I can't enjoy myself, you know, then what else are you supposed to enjoy in this life, really, if you're not enjoying yourself?
Exactly. Yeah. So do you want to tell us about the new book? I think it came out the end of August?
Yeah. No, it actually came out. Well, yes, it came out the end of August. The official announcement date was September 7th. Okay. So it's been out announced for about a week, you know. But due to, like, you know, the coronavirus stuff and the production delay, so like they put my book up way early, but can't get a hold of anybody in the publishing. So it just lived there. I just didn't mention it to anybody. And
right. Well, but I think I talked to you sometime in 2019. You were out here in Sonoma Valley for the Laugh Cellar, and we talked at that time without getting to see your face. This is so much more fun. But that's the part of quarantine I like. I like that I get to see you while I'm talking to you.
Oh, good.
But we talked about you were writing it, so I remembered some of that.
Yeah. This has been in the works for like a year and a half.
Yeah. So give us an overview. What is the journey in the book?
The journey in the book, and I'm still working on this because I'm trying to make it, like, you know, as succinct as possible.
Yes, we're working on your elevator pitch right now.
Sorry about that. We're working on my elevator right now. Well, I've been studying empowerment for about 13 years. Prior to, I've been studying empowerment since I was 19 to 32. Couldn't go to college. I was an undocumented immigrant at that time, so no access to regular college education. Hit a real low where I actually was, you know, I couldn't get a job. So I was like offering services on Craigslist, erotic services on Craigslist, until I ended up getting HIV, right? So I was at the lowest of the low, got into the world of empowerment and started studying that, and, you know, so that's changed my life. And I started applying everything I learned to my life to get to the other side. So I had a good amount of success using those principles. Then my ex-husband, my ex-boyfriend, Michael James, he passed away from cancer. I was with him for 5 years. And when he passed away a couple of years ago, this was in May of 2018, I hit a point where I became so unhappy emotionally, just unbearable amount of pain. Day to day, every day felt like, I don't know, a year. It was just the most awful thing. And so I said, well, I'm certainly not going to live my life feeling like this every day. Otherwise, what's the point? I refuse. So it was either really at that point, one or the other. It was like, okay, I can just go kill myself, or I can find a way to make myself happier. Which is it going to be? So I was like, let me try this. So I started studying happiness. I started studying what makes a person happy and how to affect your joy. Like what is joy? What is, happiness? And as I started looking into that, I started applying those years of empowerment work, the thought work. Most of my training has been based in a Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is the idea that your language creates your reality. And it starts with your thoughts, And so I started applying that to emotional result of joy instead of tangible result of, say, more money or more, better career status or getting goals in whatever way. I just wanted to be happier. So I started focusing all of that energy into just being happier to crazy, surprising results to myself. And it really, I was like, wow, okay, so this is what I was supposed to be doing all along. Like, wow, okay.
And it's
so that's what the book's about.
Yeah, and it's so inspirational because you started that journey early. And I say this occasionally, depending on the guest that I have, and I sound like an old fart when I say it. But I didn't start working on that until like my early 40s. And I really hope that in some of these conversations, I inspire and my guests inspire people to start that process earlier in their life. Because when you make the choice to be happy and you really work on it, it's an amazing life change. But you can't just say one day I'm going to be happy. You have to actually really go looking for it, which is what you did.
Yeah, I had no choice. It was like, I had no option. Yeah. It was do or die, literally. So I'm glad I explored that.
And at what point did you get up to get into stand-up comedy? Was that part of the process?
No, I did, well, kind of. I did, I started stand-up comedy 2012. I took a stand-up comedy class and I kind of got into that. And that came as a result of just getting frustrated with it. I was a theater person, and how many productions of Miss Saigon can you do before you get sick of it?
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, I want another way to get on stage and express myself, and stand-up comedy was just the natural next step. And I love this because when I met Michael, it was about a year and a half into my stand-up comedy thing, and I was going to leave show business. I was going to be like, this is not working. I think I'm much better off in sales, much better off in a regular job or whatever. And when I met Michael, he really encouraged me. He's my ex-boyfriend. Yeah. He really encouraged me to stay in. He said, baby, you've got something here, so you really should not quit. You really should not give up. As a result, I stayed in the game until I became, international headliner, right? And,
yeah, at least Sonoma Valley headliner, too.
I'm sorry, what?
I said Sonoma Valley headliner, too.
Yeah, I'm a headliner everywhere. So that was great, and I love that I get to. I'm a real nerd for empowerment stuff, so I love that I get to combine my love for empowerment and my love for comedy, and encourage people to understand their emotional system better and empower themselves so that they have more access to better feeling in a time that is so turbulent.
Oh my gosh, there couldn't be a better time for this book, I think.
Yeah, it's cray out there right now. It's
It
cray.
is. And I'm sure you're probably focusing most of your time on the book, but are you finding ways to still remain in the comedy? I have bugs flying around my face in the comedy world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing Zoom shows and, you know, and everything like that. I have a show that I developed actually with the Laugh Cellar, which is, you know, Sonoma Valley's premier comedy club.
Yeah.
The woman that runs it, my dear friend Lisa Pidge, is you know, my manager, PR person, and we came up with like a wellness comedy show, using the tools that I talk about in the book, and combining that with my personal experience to create a wellness show. So,
you froze a little bit. Why don't you tell me that part one more time? So Lisa, I encourage you to do the combination wellness comedy show.
Yeah, so it's the Art of Being Yay comedy show. It's actually talking about the tools that I talk about in the book and combining that with stand-up comedy to teach tools for wellness, for emotional wellness within the context of like a comedy show. Right. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
What are some of your favorite tools in the book?
My favorite tool in the book is I love this one. When Michael first passed away, I would just melt down. You know, I just missed him all the time. And as I started studying emotional wellness, I came across this concept that, you know, you only want what you want because ultimately you think that emotionally you will end up getting something at the other end of it. So you might want a promotion in your career because you think you might get more security and safety, or there's an emotional end to whatever goal that you set, you know? And so as I started thinking about that, one day I just missed Michael so much. And for me to stop and say, and not go general, not go, I miss Michael, okay, Aidan, you miss Michael. So at this moment right now, what is it that you think you would have emotionally if Michael were here right now? And every time there was a different answer. Sometimes I would be, you know, in the grocery store, which is like a minefield of triggers for widows, apparently. You could feel like, oh, spinach, kale, arugula. Oh, it's just melting down. And, you know, I'd be in the cereal aisle and see a box of Fruit Loops and start crying. Like, why? Because if Michael were here, he would give me the permission to get that sugary, terrible cereal that I would normally get. And I missed that permission to have fun. And so what I started doing systematically was, and it wouldn't work every time because sometimes I would get too caught up in the emotion, I would hit a point where I would miss Michael. And then I would say, what is it that he would give you right now if he were here emotionally? Getting real clinical about it. Identifying that, oh, it's a permission to have fun, or oh, it's a comfort, safety. Then finding a way, creative ways to give myself that, because I can't bring Michael back from the dead, and that's not going to happen. So if I can identify what my emotional desire is on the other end of it, then I can soothe myself into a better emotional state. And as I started doing that frequently, and then I started doing that in other things, sitting in traffic. I'd be sitting in traffic getting frustrated. And then I'm like, okay, if I weren't sitting in traffic, what would I be feeling? Peace, ease, calm. What are some ways I can give myself peace, ease, calm right now without needing the traffic to change? When you start thinking about life that way, you really start meeting your emotional needs without needing anything around you to change. And I think that is the most powerful tool that I think I've learned from this entire experience.
I love that. That's a powerful tool. I also, here, I have a note here that Margaret Cho wrote the foreword to your book. I'm going to read this little blurb. And an essential and highly effective manual for mental health and happiness from a fantastic and fun friend. Love this book, and I recommend it to anyone who needs a hug, especially since we can't have hugs right now. That was me. An emotional boost and a roaring good time. So first of all, wonderful to have Margaret Cho back you up on the book. She mentions that you're friends. I'm just wondering, what's a little bit of the backstory there?
We're both, she's Korean, I'm Korean. And what's wonderful is when I first moved to the US when I was 9, I saw her on TV on, it was All American Girl, that was the sitcom. And I just remember being so excited to see an Asian person on TV. And, I've been doing stand-up comedy for a while, and I met her, and I started running into her and getting on the same lineup with her a few times, and we connected. And so, when I wrote this book, another friend of mine, Vinny, like, it's just, the ideas just kind of like showed up from different people. Vinny, my friend Vinny, he was like, if you can get somebody to write the foreword for your book that you really respect or admire, that would be a good way to, promote the book. And my first choice was Margaret. So I called her and she said yes. So she read my book, and she obviously liked it enough to give me a foreword, and then the thing, and it was very special because, that's huge. Like, I grew up, watching her and loving her, and to have her support and her to be my friend is very special.
I love it. I love it. I love everything she does. She's so dynamic, whether she's acting or on the stage or, let's see. I wanted to know, I know. You also call yourself a happiness expert. How does one become a happiness expert?
You get so miserable that you make your it's true. That's what happened. You get so miserable that nothing else matters except happiness. And then you focus all your energy on trying to get to happiness. And then you become a happiness expert and you figure out ways to do that. And you can. There are ways to do that.
I think this next question falls right in line with that too. I was thinking, you always look like you're having so much fun on the stage, but that can't possibly always be the case going in. I mean, you'd have to be I don't even know what the word is, what you'd have to be, a superhero maybe, to always be right there in that moment, ready to go on stage. Like, how do you tackle, I'm about to go out there and make people laugh, but I'm not feeling it right now? I mean, it could even be that last exercise you just shared with us, but do you have something that you use to kick yourself into gear to go out there and make people laugh?
I just like being on stage. So it's not really generally a difficult thing for me. Like, there's, and like, I think you saw my show at Deerfield, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So like in a case like, I just like it. It's not a real problem for me.
So maybe it is your happiness finder. So something else might be hard, but in that moment, it's always for you.
Yeah, I like connecting with people. I like, making people laugh, and I love it. I love what I do. And so I really, honestly, I wish I could answer that question in a way like I can pump people up, but like I'm just happy to be on stage. So like I don't know.
But maybe that might be the message. Find that thing. I mean, obviously, stand-up comedy is not going to be for everybody. It's very hard. Like, I admire you for doing that. But maybe that's the message: is that find that thing that makes you happy, and make sure you schedule it in to make sure you do it every so often.
Stand-up comedy is so difficult that if you don't love it, then you're not going to last. It just is not going to happen. It's very challenging. You have to manage a big group of people. And in the beginning years, man, like I was, not great. It wasn't like I was born a genius or anything. So I bombed a lot. I went out there and just jokes didn't work, and I didn't even have my voice. I didn't know what I wanted to say. And so it takes a lot of trial and error, and getting through painful moments. I mean, how painful is it to go on stage and have nobody laugh at you for 10 minutes solid? It is. And
oh, that's torture. I can't even, no, thank you.
People have
I mean,
disdain for you.
We we have musical theater in common. So, you know, there's those matinees where the audience might be full, but you're hearing crickets and you're like, we just
The
have
Sunday
to laugh at
matinee
each other. The
with
Sunday
parents.
Yes.
There's like a delay.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Oh.
Yes. You'll say the joke and then 5 minutes later, oh, Edna, did you get it? And then everybody laughs and you're like, but now we're in the serious part. What's happening?
Oh my God. Comedy on Sunday matinee shows with blue hairs busting. That is the worst thing ever.
Yes.
You don't know if anybody's there. Like, it's just, oh, Sunday matinees, man.
So, we mentioned Miss Saigon, obviously, but did you have any other shows that were some favorites that you've performed?
Yeah, I did. Lucky for me, I'm very tall.
Yeah.
I got broad shoulders, and I have these, okay, what I like to call LA muscle. They can't do anything. They look great. They can't do anything.
That's the whole purpose of the LA muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People ask me, they're like, hey, can you help me carry that? I'm like, usually I say, you know, you're a very beautiful girl, so use what your mama gave you and ask that guy, you know. I can't lift. So, yeah, I did Urinetown. I was a Bobby Strong in Urinetown. That was really fun.
Oh,
I did
cool.
Hill the Music Man. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
What else did I do? I mean, I did, you know, I toured with Shakespeare for a couple of years, San Francisco Shakespeare. I did stuff at San Francisco Playhouse. Like, I have a lot of experience in different theaters who were lucky enough to take a chance with me. So I had a great time in the theater world, you know?
So I want to leave this with what do you think, or not what do you think, but what do you hope that readers get from your book?
I think the reader, what my number one thing is, I would love for readers to understand the function of their emotions. I think in this society, we kind of, if you're having a negative emotion, we all go into, there is something wrong and must be fixed, as opposed to listening to your negative emotions as a gauge or barometer for what action you ought to take next, and honoring it. We got to get rid of the emotion, and you don't want to get rid of the emotion. You want to keep that emotion and use it as a guide to move your life forward. And there's a lot of tools and stuff that I offer on my website, aidanpark.com. It's all free. You know, there's a values evaluation worksheet. The number one factor in a happy life is, what are your values and are you living in line with your values, really? That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. And your emotions will tell you, are you, you know, if your value is here, if your value is way over on the west, but you're living way over on the east and you're chronically unhappy, there's a reason for that. You're not living in line with your values. So it's a good barometer that you should become friends with, not make an enemy of.
Love it. And we've been talking to Aidan Park. The book is called The Art of Being Yay, the OMG NSFW Memoir and Guide to the Authentic Joy. I added the word "the." That's not in the title of the book.
That's fine.
I
Call it whatever you want. Call it Pinocchio.
Okay. By Aidan Park. So I think you're so entertaining and so inspiring. And I think that, honestly, there couldn't be a better time for this book to come out, because I think there's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff right now. So you gave out your website. Are you active on social media? Where else do you want people to look for you?
I am at Aidan Park Show, AIDANPARK Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And remember the A. I kept searching through my emails and typing EN because of the autocorrect. I'm like, what's O? It's spelling it wrong.
I spelled it wrong when I changed my name. So it's my fault. Is that
what happened? Well, thanks so much for chatting with me today, and hopefully you'll get to perform in Sonoma again, and I'll get to see you live.
For sure. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.